The reality of cooking for content versus cooking in real life is that they're two very different things. Trying to make this Callaloo and Saltfish, for example, before I even started cooking, you can see me here spending time trying to figure out the lighting because it wasn't the best lighting, or to me, it's not the best lighting. Or if you follow any recommended any advice generally, it's that you need to make sure you have great lighting. Now when you're trying to make a meal, as I was here, I was about to make some lunch with Callaloo and Saltfish and decided to capture it, and so I turned the camera on. But factor in the lighting, I spent so much time here, and this is one of the differences between cooking for content and cooking for real life. I'm trying to focus on the food, but I'm spending more time here worried about production. So when I'm cooking for content, I'm thinking about a lot of things, and you don't think about these things when you're making dinner. Is the lighting the best? Is the camera angle perfect? Sometimes I may forget to even hit record. Maybe I need to redo the clip, but the food is there waiting to be cooked. And this is the part that gets lost online. We usually see a very curated and finished version. We see the best angles, we see the pretty food shot, we see the close-up of the final dish, and a lot of times we don't see what happens behind the scenes. The setting up, the fixing the light, this how many times you have to start, or the retakes, checking the footage. Sometimes the camera zoom in because I'm controlling it from my phone, moving the ingredients, reviewing the footage, and then editing it at some point later on. Sometimes making the content take longer than making the meal. In fact, guaranteed, if I'm making content, it's going to make the meal making process much longer. The other thing food content doesn't always show you is how real life cooking actually looks and how different it is from cooking for content. You're usually not cooking under the best of conditions or the most perfect conditions. You're either cooking when you're very tired, you're cooking after a long day at work, you're cooking under kitchen lights that are like fluorescent kitchen lights that no flatter nobody. And honestly, that is pretty normal. So one thing I've also noticed is that the more we can consume that food content, is the more people think it or meal should look a certain way, where it's perfectly plated and perfectly styled. But as you can see, this is not the most flattering looking thing. The breadfruit look almost burnt up because the air fryer was on the squits. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna try run a production studio. I'm trying to make meals, and that's a very different goal. But here, with this Callaloo and Saltfish, the goal was just to make some lunch. And this did exactly what it was supposed to do. And whether or not the internet rewards it, who knows? But it's a reminder that real life is not perfect looking. Real life isn't always aesthetic. Real life is very much messy and very much disorganized, but it can be very much nourishing. I hope you make some Callaloo and Saltfish.